Hi, everybody. I want to talk about the four phases of inquiry that Garrison and Vaughan introduce in this week's reading. And I want to do so for two reasons. The first is that because I think that Garrison and Vaughan are sometimes a little bit jargony, and sometimes a little bit hard to pull out the salient pieces from their prose. But the second reason is I think it's a particularly brilliant framework for online and blended courses. The reason why I think the four phases of inquiry are so brilliant is that they help you determine when certain types of activities should happen in an online or blended course or a technology enhanced course, but they really help you determine for a blended or technology enhanced course the where that these activities should take place. Before I go any further with this talk, I do want to mention that there is some supplementary materials that I've posted just underneath this video that will provide some examples and further information about what I'm talking about. So you can either look at that as I'm going through this or take a look at it after you've finished watching this video. Garrison and Vaughan identify four phases in the inquiry process. These phases are sequential, so the triggering event happens before exploration, happens before integration, happens before resolution application. But they also, at least for a blended or technology enhanced course, define where certain activities will take place, whether they'll take place, that means online, or whether they'll take place face-to-face. Is that a little too jargony? Okay, well, let's take each one of these individually and unpack what each of these events are. So our first phase is a triggering event, and what a triggering event is, it's a dilemma or a problem that sparks interest in the topic, or which connects what you're going to be talking about, the topic or subject, with the students or the learner's prior knowledge. Now, what these are can be a whole series of different things, right? It could be just a quick question to the students that asks them to connect their own experiences to the topic, or it could be some kind of provocative reading or video that gets them really emotional about the topic. Regardless, what's important for what we're talking about here is that this will happen before anything else, and that for a blended or technology enhanced course, this happens online before the face-to-face session. Now that the student's interest is piqued in the topic, we move into the exploration phase. And this is where the students simply begin to explore the topic or the problem. The types of activities that learners could engage in during the exploration are almost infinite, right? It's anything from listening to a lecture to doing projects, right? But again, where this phase should start, at least, it's going to carry on into afterwards, but it should start during the first face-to-face session. The third phase is the integration phase, and this refers really to what's happening in the student's mind, right? Is that all the stuff that they've come across in explorations and that trigger event, it's all pulled together, integrated into a single coherent body of knowledge inside their mind. Like with the exploration phase, the types of activities you can do during the integration phase are really widespread. However, there should be culminative types of activities or capstone types of activities where the students show off all the stuff that they know. And this also might be where you have some of your summative assessment. But anyway, the important part is that for Garrison and Vaughan, this is done online between the face-to-face sessions. The last phase of the inquiry process is the resolution application phase. And this is the phase where the students are able to generalize the topic, right? They're able to apply it in other circumstances. But it's also where they're able to evaluate their own mastery of the objectives, right? They're able to self-assess themselves. During this phase, students do activities where they will apply to types of things from the topic or think about generalizing them. But it's also where they should receive any results from the things they've done, any kind of summative activities that they've done, so that they know where they stand in relationship to the objective. The structure that Garrison and Juan come up with for scheduling activities during a blended or a technology enhanced course is very simple, but it's very important to remember. And that is that you simply plan things for before the face-to-face session, during the face-to-face sessions, between face-to-face sessions, et cetera, et cetera. And by doing so, you'll make sure that you're integrating your online activities with your face-to-face activities. So that's it for this little mini lecture. Remember, there's a supplementary material just below this video up here in Moodle. Take a look at it, and that'll provide some more examples and some more depth to what we just talked about. Bye-bye, everybody.